Again, I'd like to welcome you all to our Tuesday 1:30 p.m. session with Chenalyn, where she will be taking us on a fall garden tour and learn more about fall crop preparation. I'm going to read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information, any apps or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners, or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see us, hear us, or see the screen, please let us know in the chat. We would appreciate that. Let's keep our TVs and cell phones in mind to give ourselves and others the most immersive experience. And as always, I recommend you take notes and or screenshots so you can review the information for later on if you would like. Once again, Chenalyn, if you could introduce yourself and your topic for today, we'd really appreciate that. And once again, thank you so much for coming on to our session. And I hope you like the flyer for your session today.
I love it. It's so colorful. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chenalyn Barker, garden manager and co-founder of Turkey Thicket Gardens in Ward 5, DC. And so we are adjacent to Brooklyn Middle School as well as the playground. And because this is a kind of like a community shared park space, you will hear kids or noises in the background. So I'm going to try to speak as loudly and closely to the mic as possible. So I'm excited to cover our preparation for the fall season, which technically we're in a few weeks in, but folks still have not cleared out their plots because of the warmer weather. People are still trying to get those last summer crops in before they plant their fall crop. So this is a good way to segue into what the garden looks like, and then we'll do another live demonstration of what folks have planted for the fall. So you'll definitely see a 180 difference of the before and after at the community garden. So I am here inside our shed. We are pretty at full sun right now, so it's super, super hot. But let me just do a quick little tour of our garden shed. We're really lucky because we have this wonderful shed that has a lot of the tools that members can use, and I'm sure you all are familiar with them. So this
So we
is
can see everything. It looks so cool. Looks like we're right there.
this is our shed, and then this is just a layout you can see of the community garden. Folks, we don't have a lock at the front gate, so folks are able to come in, sit down, read books. It's really popular in the winter and cooler months. And then as you can see, there's still a lot of plots that need to be cleaned out, winterization and preparedness for the winter. So, okay, sorry, bear with me. I'm going to flip back to me. Okay, great. So a lot of our gardeners did tomatoes, although this year's tomato harvest did not do too well. And I really think that's because of the rain that we've had. And so sometimes when there is premature rain, when you plant your seedlings in, it causes root rot, but also just doesn't, the seed is so saturated that the germination process in terms of an even amount of water and sun, where the seed just kind of goes like that, it doesn't grow. So anyway, I do want to share some tools with you first that the majority of our gardeners will use in preparation for the fall. And the first one is called, it's called the claw. And this is a really great tool. And this is a really great tool because you will drive the prongs into the dirt, and you can rest your foot on here and twist. And so it really does a good deep of being able to rotate the dirt, and as well as get some of those like last rooted plants in, so you can twist it and then easily pull the weed or the plant out. And then we have the shovel. This is another great tool that we use when we have plants that are just a little bit lodged into the dirt. We usually typically put it about a couple inches away from the root of where we're trying to pull it, and we'll drive our foot into it so it creates a strong kind of like resistance, and then we'll pull it, and then we're able to kind of dislodge that pesky root or plant off the ground. Okay.
Did the
Okay.
paw come like that? It looks like the top looks like a scooter handle bars at the top.
Yeah, no, that is, and there's like the grips at the end, so they're a little bit easier to hold steady. Yes, but we also provide community gloves at the community garden. So folks want to bring their own, they can, but we typically buy gloves that people can reuse. And for the most part, folks do a really good job of cleaning off the tools and putting it back in the shed. We do have some housekeeping rules ourselves, just because it is a shared space, and we want to make sure that everything here is clean and put back where it belongs so the next gardener can find them. So these are individually rented plots from Brooklyn Neighbors. We are part of the DC DPR urban gardening program, so we do accept folks from different wards, but we try to keep it locally, at least preferences given to folks who live a mile from the community garden for obvious reasons, in terms that they're closer so they can take care of their plots, but that's not always the case. So, okay, great. And now we'll move outside. It's going to be hot. Okay. Okay. So this is the plot. Let me reverse it. So this is a plot that still has some of those last summer crops that we are talking about, in terms of they want to be able to squeeze in a few more tomatoes, and the okra still hasn't, oops, let me just hold on. Okay. So this is a really nice tomato plant. Can everybody see it? So I'm just going to show you that this is a really good plot that's been well taken care of during the summer, and there's still like Thai peppers and different types of jalapeno peppers that still need to be harvested. But we've had such great weather that the plants are still growing. So let me reverse my camera, and then you guys can see the plot. So these are tomatoes. These are tripod tomatoes that they've put together to grow. It's really nice. It's a little bit different from cages. This creates more of a TP effect. And you can see that we're still growing different types of peppers. This is Thai chili peppers. And we have jalapenos. Can you see the jalapenos? Oh, let me go to the side. And this is okra. Okra does really well at this garden because I think of the heat. But we have some beans still here that are growing. And then we have the jalapeno peppers. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is pretty much, look at this one.
Yeah, that one is amazing.
Yeah, so let me show you some other crops that people are growing. And we're probably going to give them one more week, and then we'll have to shut it down for the fall. I mean, for the, this is basil. Oh, look, the bumblebees love it. And basil's great. So this is a good basil plant. Usually when they start sprouting like this, it means that it's time to cut them. the great thing about basil is that they'll continue to grow. Once they reach the budding period like this, all you need to do is just snip it at the top. Just like snip this at the top, and they'll continue to produce. The thing about basil though, in this weather, they need a lot of water. But that's a beautiful plant, and you can see from the tops that it's pretty much done. So this gardener can either continue, can cut off the flower crowns and continue to grow the basil, or just let it winterize. This gardener's pulled out a lot of her Swiss chard and lettuce already. This is Swiss chard. Isn't those beautiful leaves? So this looks like she's planted some, and that's kale. So this gardener's pretty much done for the season. We have a lot of rosemary bushes. These are great to cook with. They're easy to grow. People mix them in with their meats or their vegetables.
You see, each lot or plot has its own personality.
Yeah, so each plot is managed by a different person, and they do pay a yearly fee to do this. So this is the last of the peppers for this community plot. And this one's doing really well. Look at all the Thai peppers that they still need to harvest. Do you see that? All those yellow ones? Oh, let me go on this side. Oh, look at how pretty begonias. And these are strawberries. So strawberries grow every other year. So she put this first year, so they'll grow next summer. But you can see all the peppers that still need to be harvested. This community plot here, this member has moved out of the country. So she pulled everything out, and we have about 26 people on our waiting list. So we'll assign this to the next gardener. And these are our beans. So what we're doing is we're pretty much just waiting for them to, these are like natural nutrients. So we're waiting for them to get brown, similar to this. And then what we'll do is we'll just fold them into the ground. It's wonderful compost where these leaves will provide nutrients. And then once they turn brown like this, we'll just turn them over into the ground. Like we'll put the leaves in the pot, and then we'll take a shovel and turn them into the ground. All right, here's a good example of a plot that's ready for the fall. So they've taken out all their tomato plants, and they started planting things for the fall. So looks like they've started their onions. And over here, there was a whole bunch of tomatoes, and it looks like they've pulled them all out, and then they'll plant something here. So this garden plot we'll have so at the end of this month, all the gardeners will have to have everything pulled. And then by the end, probably like, before Thanksgiving, they'll have to start planting something for the winter. And so usually once you clean everything out, a typical plot will look like this. As you can see, there's nothing in it. So this plot is ready to have fall crops come in. Or you can cover it with hay if they're not going to grow anything. But typically, folks do participate in fall crops. Okay, let me go back to me.
Did I lose you all?
No, you're still with us, Chenalyn. We
I'm
still
trying
see
to reverse
your
my
rear camera.
oh, okay, I'm just trying to reverse my camera to see. Oh, oh no, I can't like reverse myself. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay.
Yep, you're good. Thank you so much, Chenalyn, for showcasing those different plots. Which one was your favorite?
Oh, I'm gonna go back into like super warm.
Oh,
It was like so hot today. Okay. So those are examples of plots that are a few of our plots that are almost done with the summer crops, as you saw. And then folks will have about a week and a half to harvest. So after Halloween, so by the end of this month, all the plots have to be cleared out, and then they'll be clean like the last plot I showed you. And then usually the first or second week of November, folks will start to plant their fall crops. And this weather is a little bit temperamental because it's super hot, but typically fall crops include your leaves, so like spinach, kale, cabbage. So all your leafy greens can be planted in. You can also do like heirloom carrots. You can do broccoli. So all the things that grow outside. And then like winter is mostly for bulbs, mostly for bulb planting. Okay, any questions?
oh, well, once again, Chenalyn, thank you so much for doing that live demonstration of all of those different plots. It was so interesting to see what each person put in their lots and how well taken care of a lot of them or all of them seem to be. So you can see how much the gardeners care about their different plots. Did you have a favorite one that you showcased today?
Oh, so I actually like all the plots. So like I said, they're all individually, we have 25 members and it ranges from ages 25 to 72. So we're an intergenerational community garden. I like all of them. So you can't really tell right now because we're in between seasons, but in our next demonstration, you'll definitely see what folks have planted. And 3 of our plots are saved for our veggie community giveaway program. So we have 3 plots designated for the community where folks can come in and pick the vegetables. And so in our next garden demonstration, we'll be planting those plots. So you'll be able to see and meet other gardeners who manage those plots. So I'm really excited for that. But I just love all the plots because they're individually used by different gardeners. So it always fascinates me what everyone's going to grow, how they take care of their plot. And the majority of our gardeners have been here for like 4 years or more, so they kind of like plant the same things. But it's just interesting to see what everyone's favorite things are: tomatoes, okra, and I would probably say tomatoes, okra, and probably like maybe squash are probably the 3 top things at this community garden, just because as you saw, we're full sun and those things are really great. And then hardly anyone plants during the wintertime, only 3 people. And they do bulb plantings, mostly just garlics and beets and like turnips. But the fall is great because people usually do their leafy greens. So, at home, if you have, I'm going to show you some garden tips. So, at your house, you can also do fall gardening as well. You don't need much. So all you need is dirt and your seeds. If you have leftover containers, if you recall from a few presentations ago, we started that germination process in egg containers. If you have plastic bins like this, in any size, it can be any color, but these are just plastic. You can grow your leafy greens in here and get some seeds, get your favorite like cabbage, or if you like kale, or if you like spinach, You just fill this with dirt, follow the instructions, usually plant the seeds half of a finger length into the dirt, and you can make sure it has drainage. You can put like a plate or anything here where you have the water drainage, and you can grow any of your favorite herbs and plants right in your home using just these containers. If you have any leftover containers, or even like or if you want to start small, you can use those soup containers from the Chinese carryouts, or any leftover plastic containers you have at the store. So you don't need, a lot of fancy things to just start growing some basic things in your place.
I love that, Chenalyn. Thank you so much for sharing. We have a lot of questions in the chat, which I really appreciate. But if you would like to ask Chenalyn a question or have a comment for her live demonstration, please raise your hand as well. But first, you addressed this during your live demo. But do you go through DPR to acquire one of the spots? If so, do you pay monthly or yearly?
Yes, so you do go through the DPR website and you find what ward you're in, and then you can find which community garden is closest to you. Every community garden is managed differently. So we have different rules at different community gardens, and but there is a minimum fee. Some gardens choose to charge the fee, and then some don't. So it's really up to the individual garden as they're managed differently. Let me get that link for you all.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Chenalyn. And while you get that link, Yvonne shared, my friend gave me lots of okra from her garden. She also gave me basil, rosemary, and mint. And she said that I don't know rosemary grows so tall.
Yeah, I would say there's a link for you to go in and look to the website and learn more about the community gardens. Mint's very, very popular. So we don't allow mints in the plots, but you can put them in side containers. And yes, okra. Was your friend's name Vanessa by any chance?
Yeah, you can share that in the chat.
Who said that?
Yvonne.
Yvonne, was your friend that gave you the okra? What was your friend's name Vanessa by any chance?
While you answer that, Yvonne, she also asked, where can I purchase those bulbs for fall planting?
The bulbs you can purchase it anywhere. Ace, or if you have online gift cards. I know the guys been practicing with that. You can go to any online Home Depot, Ace, or any online local garden that you can just purchase them. You can probably order them on Amazon too, that I've seen. But tulip bulbs are great for the winter, so you can plant those in and they'll grow in the spring. But the fall favorites are usually spinach, kale, heirloom, tomatoes, broccoli. Those are usually the popular ones here at the community garden. Oh, and different types of radishes. And you can get the seeds. You can really get the seeds anywhere. Sometimes your local bank will have them. But I've seen the seeds even at like Safeway. They have like one of those little stands that turn around, and they have the different seeds in there.
Totally. She said, no, my friend is named Ayo.
Okay, sorry. The reason why I asked is because Vanessa, one of our gardeners, she's the queen of okra, and she always gives all her okra away. So if you were with us like early in the summer, like in July, like June and July, this garden was really flourishing with lots of beautiful fresh vegetables. And she has so many friends that come by and visit. So I just thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be funny if it was Vanessa?
Yes, no, I love that story. That's so beautiful, to share what you grow yourself, Another question, did you say they put down hay if they don't plant a winter crop?
Yes. So let me just show you this. So we have winter crops. So what we do is we cover our plot usually with a cover crop that grows, that regenerates the nutrients of the soil, or you can do hay, which is a little bit more natural, and that protects the dirt. That protects the dirt just from, first of all, from the animals. We have a lot of squirrels here, but it also just protects the dirt so that it doesn't harden during the colder months, and a lot of like snow gets into it. It keeps the dirt warm and moist, and so it just kind of helps from keeping it warmer in temperature so that it doesn't harden. And so we provide hay. So this is usually the hay that we use. And then what we'll do is we'll get a three or four barrels that folks will use to cover their plot, so that way that it protects the dirt from hardening during the colder months. Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, thank you for answering that, Chenalyn, and all the questions. And Anne shared that it was some real interesting information that she shared today. So I also agree with that as well.
Yes. If it wasn't so hot here, I'd say pull the thing, plant some stuff, but usually because of this heat, as you saw, most of the cleaning and the planting is done in the morning. So between 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. you'll see gardeners here, or in the evening, usually 5 p.m. until sundown, just because, as you saw, it just gets really, really hot, and gardening in that direct heat isn't advisable, because you can get dehydrated, you can drink plenty of water, but also it's just hot. You sweat a lot, and if you're not hydrated, you could faint. So we just try to minimize some health hazards. So a majority of folks will you'll find them in the mornings or in the evenings.
Amazing. And just by the way, Chenalyn, you said you also had some winter tips for us, like you have a slides with some tips, or was that something that you're going to share?
Oh no, I think that's for next time, when we
Okay.
do the winterization. So winter technically doesn't start until December 22nd. And so if you did not know, and I think this may have been covered in some previous session, DC is zone 7 for gardening. So that means that we definitely have a later spring and a later fall. So that means warmer temps in the fall. So that's why summer crops can last as long as you saw, like with the peppers and the Thai chili peppers and some of the tomatoes. But I have to say, though, that this is a little bit unusual. Usually it's a little bit colder now, right, for this month. But I just feel like we're almost at the end of October, and we're still pretty much in the 80s for the rest of this week and possibly next, although it has gone down to 40s in the evening. So
Right. No, it's definitely warmer. I remember like last year, the year before, around this time, it was a bit cooler. So it is a little bit strange this year. So I agree with that. Um, yes. And I know all the gardeners and all the planters on the call, I love this information as well, just for us to be more aware and just for us to get all of the fruits of our labor, you know? So thank you.
yeah.
We have some more questions in the chat, but again, you all can raise your hand and ask your questions in that manner as well. If you would like, please raise your hands in Zoom as well. We have 2 questions in the chat. One, do people grow melons? I'm assuming at your garden.
Yes, so that is melons are a summer crop, and they are usually planted in June, and then they can be harvested in late July, early August. And at this community garden, it's mostly watermelons, sugar baby watermelons, which are the smaller ones. And I think we did have one person try cantaloupe. So that was fascinating. But yes, usually sugar baby watermelons, they're the smaller ones, not the big ones. That's the popular melon at this community garden, just because we're at direct sun and it thrives really, really well. And then the next question is, can one have a garden for flowers? Absolutely. Yes, Yvonne, I'm so glad you asked that, because we don't, at this community garden, we don't have a lot of people that grow flowers. We have one lady that does her dahlias in the summertime, and that's pretty much it. So I wish that people did more gardens in their flowers, because it would add a pop of color through all that greenery. So in the summertime, when this garden was luscious and everything was growing, it was green, beautiful green, and we didn't really have a pop of color. So yes, that is, it would be nice. It'd be, you can get, oh, that's another thing you guys can do too. So, at your home or where you're at, you can take any size pot. They have ones that are rectangle shape or the round ones like I showed you, and you can purchase flower seeds, a variety of flower seeds that's just they're kind of I don't know what the name of it. Do we have any here? There, one moment. They have I don't know if we have any here. It was, so they're called jewel mixtures. There's some. It's like a jewel mixture ones, and what you do is you can scatter them just across, the surface of your dirt or the planter you're using. And they're like wildflowers. They're just a variety of different shades of bright colors, and they're kind of the same size as like a pansy, but they're wildflowers, and they're just really, really pretty, and they add a really nice pop of color. So maybe, yeah, I'll have to ask Yvonne if next spring, if more of our community members can, do more flowers. And they're great for the bees, because it feeds them and also helps the plant too in terms of the pollination. So good idea, Yvonne. Thank you for that question.
Oh, I would have a plot just of flowers. I mean, that's a beautiful idea. You could have all the different colors in one plot. I think that would be so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for so much for the questions, you two, and the rest. We also have another question from Anne. Any questions or comments for Chenalyn today so far? Anne, but once again, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yes, Gwendolyn, how are you doing today? I'm still enjoying my herb garden. Thank you. And and I also wanted to ask you, I think I asked you this before, but I'm not quite sure if I remembered the question correctly. Is it too late to plant my tulips for next year?
No, not all. You can, are they outside or are you doing inside a box?
Outside.
No, you can plant those like anytime before Christmas.
Oh, okay. Okay. All
And then
right.
they'll bloom in the spring.
Okay. Is that good for the glads too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you, darling. Have a good day. And I love the information and showing us the gardens. That's really fascinating. I'm just unable to do that kind of stuff anymore. But we used to have a farm out back, and I don't have a lot of grass, a lot yard. But it's nice to have a garden, and especially to eat fresh vegetables that you planted. So thank you for showing us that today and how to prepare your stuff for next year.
Yes, thank you, Miss Ann. I was hoping to be able to physically show you, but with this heat, it's just too hot.
Yeah.
But in our next live demonstration, I think, we one of you all suggested how to showcase to propagate plants. And so then we can also do a live demonstration on how to like do in-home gardening. But you are doing it by the garden thing that you have, right?
Yeah, well, you gave me the herb garden,
Yes.
and I added I actually got a tote and put some dirt in it.
Mm-hmm.
and I stuck a little tomato plant and the few little onions buds up in there, and from the onion, the sprouts, and I've got a
Okay.
couple little onions growing.
There you go. So like I said, all you need is dirt. The three main ingredients that any of you can use, if you have any container at home, all you need is the container, the seeds, and the dirt, right? You fill the container with dirt, you put in the seeds, you water it, make sure that your pot that you're using has drainage, has drain. If it doesn't, you can just take a pair of scissors and, be safe. If you can't do it on your own, please ask for help. You can make your own holes with the scissors, or just, by twisting a knife at the bottom. So these are ideas too that we can do for the live demonstration. So next time, when we do the live demonstration next time, please send Alex what you would like to see, and then we'll try to fit it in as much as possible for the next live demonstration. I do know that we want to discuss how to propagate plants and like where to cut them off at each branch. So we have that for you. So
Yeah.
share your ideas with Alex so he can send it to me so we can prepare for that.
Well, I've got a Christmas cactus, and my poinsettia is growing from last year. It's getting ready. I just took it out of a dark place, and it's getting ready to get a bloom on it.
Ooh, what color is it? A bright red?
Red. It's a red one.
Nice.
Love
I
it.
bet you have two green thumbs, Miss Ann.
No, I do not. You know what, honey? I put it in a pot, and I pray. I say, Lord, please let this grow.
That
But
works.
my grandmother did, and my aunt, and they used to keep the yard really pretty. And mommy loved the gardening, and so I learned that from her. So
Mm.
And I did want to share one more tip too, because I know we talked about on the last session, we talked about how to bring your indoor plants, outdoor plants, if you had any inside, and we talked about make sure if there's any aphids or bugs, what to do. And so I did want to share that a natural remedy that you can use that is so you can get this at a hardware store online, but we get these spray bottles, okay? And what you'll do is you'll fill it up with water, and you do not need very much, probably maybe 1 or 2 drops of Dawn. Okay, so 1 or 2 drops of Dawn inside your spray bottle. It doesn't have to be this big, it can be a small one, wherever you have, as long as it has a vessel for the water and the solution, and then not in a spray nozzle. Oh yes, Alex?
Oh no, I was saying yes, that's exactly how to get the bugs. I'm just excited to see that. I saw that online somewhere, so it's really great to see it in person too.
Okay, great. Yes. And if you don't have Dawn, that's okay. If you have Ajax or any type of just concentrated type of soap solution, but Dawn is a little bit more safer. I don't know why though, so I'll have to research that myself. But we just have Dawn inside the shed. But you'll just fill your spray bottle with water all the way to the top. Put a couple drops of your detergent that you have. You'll shake the bottle up, and then you'll just take it. If my hand was the plant, imagine my hand was the leaf. You'll just spray it, and then you can brush the aphids or whatever type of bug is on there. That's a safe way to do it if you don't want to just, scratch it off. Or if you see little holes, if you see tiny holes in your in the leaf, that means that something is chewing them up. You can just spray and then take a clean damp cloth with water and then wipe the leaf. So these are really great, and you can get them any hardware store and any size. But also, remember in last presentation, we talked about natural humidifiers for your plant. Sometimes in the wintertime, it can get dry. So another great way for the water bottle is have another water bottle where it's just water only. And have a routine, whether it's, once a week or just a few minutes every night, whatever you think is best for your plant, and just spray the leaves all around. So you're misting the whole entire plant. And this provides just kind of like a natural refresher. You know how it all feels good when we take showers? Well, the plants appreciate that too, because they're getting water and they're, feeling refreshed. And so I like to give my plants, my indoor plants, a shower like every Sunday before I go to bed. That's my day, so I can remember it. So have one. You can have 2 bottles, one for water that, cleanses and spritz the plant as a refresher, and then you have another one for a natural repellent and insect sprayer for the water and your soap solution. And that's all natural. You can also just do vinegar as well. If we don't have this,
Vinegar.
the vinegar, the water and the vinegar.
And also, Jonathan, you can use the handy wipes. I cut them like in a smaller square, so that they're smaller, and I just take a little vinegar water and wipe off the leaves about once a month, and that helps them too.
Oh, I like that, Miss Ann, because it's easy to have. We always have those.
And spray and wash bottles that you finish with.
Mhm.
I wash them out and use them for the water bottle.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, reduce,
Cool.
reuse, recycle. So
Recycle.
that's just so good to hear. We got to use everything that we have and to, be able to utilize them in different ways. So I really appreciate you sharing all of your tips today, Anne.
And another tip too, thank you, Miss Ann, that reminded me of, in terms of reuse, recycle, if you have Windex cleaner or any type of Kleenex that you do, you can, that's rinsed out really, really well, by putting hot water in it, letting it sit for a couple days, rinsing it out really well until you think all that solution is out. And that can be your water bottle. You don't have to buy one of these. You can just use any bottle that you have at home that has the nozzle spray already, and make sure it's just cleaned out. And you can use that as your spray bottle.
Yeah. You're always so interesting, and because you've taught me a lot being inside, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we need to. Gardening's great, and I think post-COVID we've really undervalued indoor planting. And so the next demonstration I'll show you, you don't need a lot of space. You just need a couple planters, and we'll demonstrate a few different sizes of planters for you to do at home as well.
Okay, darling.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You have a good day.
Thank you, Miss Ann.
Thank you, Anne. We have 2 more hands that we have so far. But again, thank you all so much for the questions and comments and everything. It's almost time already. So we're just having fun along the way. Our next hand is from Denise. Any questions or comments for today? Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay. Wait a minute. Hi, how are you? I was just gonna tell you the weather is called Indian summer, and it lasts like a week and come every October. That's why it's so warm. Now next year, pay attention. In October, you're gonna get some 80s and whatever for about a whole week. And that's after that, then you'll start getting the coolness. But it's called Indian summer. Because I remember I had my daughter when she was born. She was born on Columbus Day. It was hot as I don't know what, and she's 46 years old. And ever since, if you look it up and see what Indian summer, you'll see that's why we got the warmness. It's called Indian summer.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to be
Have a
sensitive.
good day. Huh?
I wanted to be a little bit sensitive to people's cultures, Some people may not, but yes, you're right. It is that it is a few weeks of that summer heat before the fall, before like the real cold drops in. Thank you for that reminder. Yes.
Yeah,
don't you think it's hotter than like last year?
No, it usually be about 80. And it lasts like a week. And it's been almost a week. Then next week it'll start. So it's they're lower down to the 60s and, you know, yeah, this is not unusual. Pay attention next year. Then you probably
Okay.
say, oh, yeah. Yeah, but have a good one and thanks for letting me share, y'all.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So much, Denise.
Sure. Uh-huh.
And next up, we have Yvonne for a question or a comment. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, yes, thank you so much, Channel, and this has been very interesting. I put a picture in the chat of Azuratum, which is a beautiful plant that I have out front. It's lovely. You see it? Can you see it in the chat? It's a
Yes,
beautiful purple plant.
I responded and I said, so pretty. I said, what plant is this?
It's
'Cause I-
the Azuratum, Ageratum. And I
Ooh.
would, yeah, I'd like for you to give me a tip on what I could plant now that would overwinter and provide me some beautiful flowers in the spring, and preferably seeds rather than bulbs. Can you think of something you can share with me that I could plant now and it would overwinter and I'd have something blooming in the
Yeah.
spring?
The investment. Yes. So I am going to advise you, all of you, is to invest in perennial plants. So
In what?
those a great return of investment because they come back every year.
Yeah,
And
well,
two
I
of
mean
my favorite,
perennials. Yeah, I'm talking about perennials.
yeah, so two of them that are really nice are Fire Witch. So let me put this in the chat.
Firewitch.
And then the other one is alliums.
Could you spell both of them for me?
So let me get the allium plants first. It's ALLIUM.
Uh-huh.
They're great because they are onion-like, so you can also use the leaves like chives. They're like multi-purpose. They come back every year. So there's that one, the alliums in the different shades of purples and pinks.
Great. And you said Firewitch.
Yes, hold on. And then the other one is Fire Witch plant. And they also come in shades of purple, and they are great because they're perennials. So here's
Yes. Oh, I see them. Okay, I see it in the chat.
and they're really great. And so with the alliums, they are part like part of the onion family, and they're really nice because you can eat the stems and use them like you would with the onion or chives. And the petals are edible, so you can use them in your
And these are very
salads
easy.
or
These are very easy to grow.
yes, and they come back every year, but they will need a lot of if it's in a warm place, they'll need a lot of water.
Well, they would be outside. I'm putting these outside, of course.
Oh yes, yeah, mine are outside too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they will just need water. Don't forget to water them.
I think flowers add a lot of curb appeal to your home. If you're in a private home, I think flowers, I just love beautiful flowers along the entranceway.
Oh, that sounds delightful. Yes, and these come in a dark purple to a light pink, the alliums, and the Fire Witch are kind of like a magenta.
Well, thank you so much, Chenalyn. Thank you, Alex. Those were my questions.
So that will add a nice pop to your front
Yes,
yard.
thank you.
Oh, Chenalyn, you're going out a little bit. You're a little bit delayed with the connection, just by the way. But Yvonne said, thank you so much.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Yeah, Yvonne, yeah.
Can't wait to see what you. Okay.
Hey, Chenalyn, are you there? You're just a little delayed. But again, thank you so much, Yvonne, for your question. Chenalyn, are you there? Hey, Chenalyn, are you there? Hey, Chenalyn, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh yes, you were delayed for like a few minutes or so for those past for the in the session.
Oh
So
my
I
goodness.
yeah, you were addressing Yvonne, but it was just a little delayed. So she had said thank you for the suggestions, but you were saying something else, I think, about the fire witch plant.
Oh, I was just saying that they come in like from dark. Oh, the fire witch comes in a really pretty pink magenta. So it'll be a really nice touch to her purple flowers that she already has in her front yard.
Thank you. Yes. No, we can hear you great now. I know you're outside, but now it's the connection is great. So thank you all so much for your questions and your comments and your pictures and your suggestions. You know, every time we're all on together, we all learn something new just by you all sharing your thoughts and your ideas. So thank you so much for that. As if you all have any final questions or comments, please raise your hand. But Chenalyn, what is your favorite part of working with the gardens? And yeah, what's your favorite part of your work?
I think my favorite part is bringing people together. Community is so important, and especially when DC is such a dense population and the resources aren't always spread equally among all the 8 wards. And so, as community members, we have to work together to meet our own needs. And I know that food is a priority. So, I don't know if you all knew this, but DC, our country's capital, has the highest rate of food insecurity among older adults, 65 and above. And that is um, really disgraceful for us being the nation's capital. And so, but there are resources. You know, we are fortunate enough to live in a city where there are plenty of resources if you know where to look for them. And I know that you've all had different guest speakers with like Capital Area Food Bank and Food and Friends, possibly, and just know where you can get these foods. But it starts with education and just being able to grow the fresh vegetables. And then the second part I really like about this community garden, it's just fun just to see that something like a little seed with a little bit of love and care can grow into something abundant, that you can eat for weeks. And that's just so powerful, right? So that's incredible. That's incredible that we can grow our own food right in our own backyard or in our kitchen counters or anywhere where you have some type of light and water.
I love that, Chenalyn. It's kind of akin to our program where we take care of ourselves a little bit each day by day and learn something new so we can grow ourselves and be able to share the fruits of our labors with others. So I think life and gardening aren't too much apart.
Yes, and I can't wait to do this when it's not. We'll have another live demonstration in the wintertime where it's not so hot so that we can plant outside and show you a live demonstration of the germination process as we plan our winter. And then we can do a demonstration of the bulb planting. But right now, as you can tell, it's just too hot to be out in this heat.
Yes, well, once again, we really had so much fun with you, Chenalyn, today, and I really appreciate our live demo. I think it's been quite a while since we've had anything like that in our sessions for our program, and we look forward to more of your more frequent sessions with us. So before we do our poll for today, we'd love to have you all raise your hand if you enjoyed today's session, if you learned something new, if you enjoyed the live demonstration, if you learned a new gardening tip today. And if you overall enjoyed the presentation that Chenalyn had for us today, please raise your hand in Zoom so we could show our support and appreciation for the session. I look forward to your more informational session next month, Chenalyn. So And this will be right before Thanksgiving, so it'll be a great way to have our week start. Of course, for next month, it's already November. Isn't that amazing, right?
That's crazy. And like I said, if you have any type of particular session that might be beneficial to you in terms of what you would like to see, please email Alex so that we can include it in our future live demonstrations with you all.
Thank you so much, Shalon. I saw a ton of hands as well, about 10 or so hands. I appreciate all the hands and love that we show to Chenalyn and appreciation for her session. Let's all thank Chenalyn for today's presentation, but make sure you stay on for our poll for today. Thank you so much, Chenalyn. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you, Trina.
Thank you,
Thank you, Chenalyn.
Thank you,
Thank
Channeling.
you. It's very informative.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much.
you.